This conference will now be recorded.
There we go.
Okay, this is Jackie Goodwin. I'm here.
Hello, Jackie.
Hi there. Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Masha's here.
All right, now I think I'm back.
Okay.
There you are, Chip.
Dick, doing?
Doing
This
okay?
is,
Hello,
this
Ron.
is Jackie. I'm here too.
Hello, Jackie, Maja.
Hi, Chip.
Hi, Laurie's here as well.
Hello, Lori.
Hello.
You don't have your camera on.
Beg your pardon?
None of you ladies have your camera on.
I'm just doing it through my phone.
Okay, I got you. So all us
Uh-huh.
guys look bad. Mm-hmm.
Do we have
Yeah.
to put our camera on?
No, no.
Oh, David, hello.
Hey, Mr. Frost.
How you doing?
Excellent. Good to see you.
See if I can get that. The screen off my eyes.
Got a few minutes. I haven't heard from Mike. I've heard from Tom. Hello, Chris.
How's it going, Chip?
Haven't talked to you in ages.
I know it's been a whole 5 hours. Yeah, maybe 6.
All right, we're waiting for, hopefully Mike Arms will check in. Tom Voth is, for the purpose of the role, Maja, Tom Voth has a bye. He's up in Kansas, Oklahoma, somewhere up there with Dorothy.
He's in Oklahoma.
Okay, he's on some business up there. Hello, Josh.
Hello, sir.
Good to see you.
That's a good sign you see me. Do you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
A couple more minutes.
Gina Williams is here. She's muted, but I see her name.
Hello, Gina.
Hello. Hope everybody's well.
God, this is getting better than regular meetings in town hall. Okay. It being 5 o'clock, I'm going to call this meeting of the City of Lago Vista Golf Course Advisory Committee to order. Let's see. Maja, do you have a list of members? Can you call roll?
Yes, I already wrote down Lori
Okay.
Yes.
and Jackie,
I'm here.
Raza,
I'm here.
Dick,
I'm here.
and then me and you, Chip. I know
I'm here.
Tom's got to buy.
Yep. So the only one we're missing is Mike Arms. And I haven't heard from Mike. Maybe he'll tune in a little later. All right, having a quorum, the meeting is called to order. And our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Allegiance
of the United States of America,
United States of America,
to the
to
republic
the republic,
which stands
which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you. Do we have any comments or any of the public that wishes to comment on tonight's meeting or any other business before the Golf Course Advisory Committee? Anyone? Public comment? There being none, we will close this portion of the agenda for public comment. Our first action item tonight is discussion, consideration, and approval of minutes of the April 29th meeting. Did everyone get a chance to review those minutes?
Yes.
If so, do we have a motion to approve said minutes?
I move to approve the minute.
And do we have a second? Thank you, Jackie. A second?
I'll second. David Frauza.
Thank you, David. All right, motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes from the April 29th meeting. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Under our action items tonight, we have one major discussion and consideration, and that is for a review of draft of the semi-annual report to the City Council. And I'm assuming all of you got one. And have you had a chance to review it?
Yes.
I have, yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, I want to repeat, this is a draft. What I'd like to do tonight is go through this. If there are any questions, additions, deletions, etc., we can put those in, and I would like preliminary approval after we get through with tonight's discussion. Once these have been adjusted and corrected, then I can send this out to everyone for an approval via the internet. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. All right, first thing I'll do is open it up for the discussion on the report. Comments from anyone? I know somebody's got a comment on this report.
Okay, on number 13 on the recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, we talked about some dangerous car paths, specifically number 8 and 15, but I live on number 9, and I have seen some pretty bad wrecks going down this hill. I think on number 16 also can be a little dangerous.
Number 7
All
also.
right.
Number 7 also. The turnaround there. Making that sharp turn, coming off that turnaround.
Which one?
At number 7. Reason why a lot of people don't use that, and they were using the side, going down the right-hand side of the ski boxes. And then we rope that off.
David, I appreciate that. I had actually left number 7 out of there. That was one of my major concerns. So I
Yes,
would, I'll put that back in there. Yeah, that to me and, well, they all need to be reconfigured. They're all dangerous, but number 7 is, in my opinion, the worst one out there.
yes. The problem with the other ones is people use their brakes, but they hit the lock on the brakes instead, and then they start sliding. If they keep your foot on the far right-hand side of your brake, you end up being all right. But too often they hit the lock on the brake, which causes it to skid and turn over.
Right. I have witnessed a wreck on number 9 from one of the high school tournaments, and the coach was coming down that hill, locked his brakes, and turned the cart on its side. Fortunately, nobody was injured seriously, and the cart wasn't scratched up too bad, but it was still, it's a dangerous situation. I will make sure I put those 3 back in here and expand on that a little bit.
I have a question on 14.
Yes, sir.
Are we actually going to allow walkers on the course? And will they need insurance, or are we going to be able to cover them? And is that after hours? I mean, are we limiting golf to certain hours so that walkers can use the course?
This is certainly something that I had wanted, I put in there for discussion. It has been, I believe it's been approved by the city council to allow walkers. Am I correct with that, Josh, Dick?
So the change for allowing walkers was during COVID-19 response, not permanent operation.
Okay. Now, several of the instances.
Can I interject here? Doing
Sure.
marshaling in that, there are people out there that are walking on the course. And when you tell them that they don't need to be walking during golf hours, they get a little bit irate, and they make the comment that the mayor said it was fine to walk on the golf course. So we may need some clarification for that.
Well, we need to have signs posted because we've been told over and over again that the police cannot even enforce keeping people off of the course or kids going on their bicycles and all of their other stuff. And you can't enforce it if you have no signs out there. So there needs to be signage.
Dick, is that true that the mayor's expressed his approval?
I do not remember the mayor
Okay.
saying he approves people walking on the golf course. We have had the discussion among the council members that patrolling and controlling walkers on the golf course is just not feasible. We would need extra police officers. We would have to have some type of vehicle for them to get onto the golf course, because they definitely can't patrol it with their cars. And the discussion that I've been involved in is simply that patrolling and trying to keep people off of the golf course is not something that our police force can do. The thing that had been discussed at one time was signage discouraging walking on the golf course, but I don't believe that we ever took any action on that. If we did, I don't remember it. Josh, can you help me?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the one thing, there's no signage that says no walkers. The response by the mayor was posted on Facebook and on Nextdoor, and it said that during COVID-19 and with some of the changing hours, you could walk on the golf course. I believe he actually posted you're walking at your own risk. However, if a policy is developed by the council that says walking or non-golf activity is not allowed, then if the policy is enacted, then we would put up signs, and that would be something that's enforceable. And it would be a lot easier for any of the marshals or for Chris or for ultimately a call to the PD to be able to respond at that time. I think the easy part there is it is a risk if there are golf balls flying that someone could get injured. And so you don't see this at a lot of courses where they allow walkers, runners during the normal operating hours of the golf course.
Well, it's kind of like if you're out golfing and you hit a ball, maybe it's a blind fairway and you hit someone. I mean, then you are in trouble as a golfer. And I think that's not fair to the golfers out here that come out here and pay money to be put in that situation.
I'm inclined to agree. Let me say that in my experience with golf courses, we've never allowed walkers. I've only been involved with one other public golf course, which was in Utah. It did not have walkers. However, given that there's probably no way that you're going to control all the walkers on the golf course in Lago Vista, I really believe that there should be some policy developed by the council which addresses this. And walkers, if you're going to walk on the golf course, you're going to walk during golfing hours, and that's probably what, 6:30 till sunset. You need to be aware, and you need aware with signage that you stand the risk of being hit and injured by a golf ball or a golf cart. Walk at your own risk. I'm in favor of limiting walkers to that and having the marshals enforce it, or at least suggest that they leave the course during golfing hours. I've met people coming up the course against the flow of golf, walking during the day, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. They're really interested in hearing me tell them that they're walking at their own risk and it's a danger. And I don't feel real comfortable in pushing that myself because I'm just a paying customer. But I do believe that if we're going to have them and they're going to be there, we need to have some policy and we need to schedule hours, rules, and regulations. That's the reason I put this in here.
Yeah, I think it's one of the, I understand that walking was allowed when the course was closed, but I think the message needs to be that the course is open and walking is no longer allowed. It's just, we're just asking, for somebody to end up getting hurt because you let one and then all of a sudden the rumor gets out there. It's like, oh yeah, everybody can walk on the course. I mean, you got bicycles, you got kids. I was out there and there was right around number 2 on the blind side come around and there's 2 ladies, 2 dogs and a child, just out there playing and didn't even know. I mean, that's and I told them, I said, hey, look, you're taking a big risk being out here while golfers are playing. They didn't say anything. They just kept walking.
Yeah, I explained to a young lady the other day that was coming up 16 that she was walking on the cart path against the flow of golf, and she probably needed to be out in the middle of the fairway because that's the safest place there is when I'm on the tee box. So she didn't understand that. But anyway, I will elaborate on 14. Try to take in these suggestions. Chris, do you have anything to say about this?
My whole position really is, we want to do, we want to try to make everybody happy, because again, we understand, there are walkers and people are going to work the golf course no matter what you tell them. So, and I think like the mayor said in his social media post that, I think there is some coexistence, between people playing golf and walkers. What that actually means, I do agree. I think there should be a policy put in place that is enforceable. But again, you know, I don't see any problem with allowing people to walk on the golf course within that policy.
As long as they're walking on the golf course cart path and they're within hours that the council approves, and they understand that they're walking at their own risk.
That's the thing, because we do not want a situation where the person who's playing golf, the paying person, is going to have a liability issue because they hit somebody with a golf ball. And on number 9, there was a nanny with 2 little kids out just past that mound by the house with the pool. And can you imagine if a golf ball off of a driver hit one of those children in the head? And you know that those people would have come after the golfer. And so it has to be, it's a liability situation all the way around.
I agree, and I'm very concerned with that. I will take 14, elaborate on that, and submit that to the council along with the report. Any other comments on that? All right, moving on.
Sorry, I had
Sure.
one more question. My question is, let me find the document again, I apologize. On number, there was a recommendation to remove the pond on number 2.
Yes,
So is that, that's number 12. So it says consult with city engineer about removing the pond on number 2. You're talking about the pond up towards the left of the fairway?
that's correct.
What's the thought process behind that? I haven't heard that discussion before.
Okay, the wet area out across number 2 is caused by that pond leaking through the dam, under the dam, and into the golf course fairway. Because the fairway is lower than substantially lower than the water levels in that pond when there's water in it. And I believe that pond is inactive, is it not?
That pond is inactive. That is the old holding pond from when the golf course was being watered through the lake pump.
Right, right. And I think I don't think you're going to solve the drainage issue across number 2 down below the ramp or down below the hill until the water level in that pond is mitigated.
I don't believe there's water in that pond right now, Chip.
And when there is, it does seep out across the fairway.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, you know, I'm just suggesting, and the suggestion was that city engineer look at that, see if we can't mitigate that drainage issue, because it does stay wet across number 2 after hardening when that pond collects water.
Right. Yeah. I guess my question would be, where do you see it leaking from? So that way we can assess that. The only reason I haven't seen it leak, so I just want to know where that's at, so we can take a look.
In the past, when there's been heavy rains, it'll overflow and it'll, I've seen logs and rocks and other debris that's been washed up over the back of that pond onto the course.
Okay, so you're talking about over the pond.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought, okay.
On a regular basis, but during some really heavy rains.
I'm talking about under the pond, under the dam. That pond was never sealed. It doesn't have a clay bottom, and it doesn't have any type of artificial sealing barrier under it. And since the level of the pond is so much higher than the elevation of the fairway, it seeps out under that dam and into the fairway. And that's the reason it stays wet all the time. We're never going to dry that out until we mitigate that issue.
Okay, so that's why I was asking about that item. Maybe that's something that we need to have, as it says, we can get with city engineer, go check it out, see what kind of concerns. If it's not active, then if it doesn't have a community value add, then it's definitely something that we can see what the remediation process is. And if it's something that we need to maintain, then maybe it requires some kind of additional response plan. But I just never heard that dialogue before. So it's one item I just wanted to ask the question on. And then on number 6 says place the cart path only signs on the par 3s of the cart paths below the
Yeah.
silver and red tees. I agree. One of the things that Chris and Diego have been working on is adding the ropes on the course to try and restrict people from driving on areas that shouldn't have golf carts driving on the grass. You can see some challenges where our community, whomever may be golfing, decides to take down the ropes and drive anywhere they want anyway. You also see golfers that choose to drive up onto the greens with their carts, and they do not have approved carts that say that they're allowed to do such. So, it's a nice thing to add on here, as number 11 says, add placards on there. As number 10 says, have the superintendent, the manager do certain tasks of the week. It'd also be nice to add on here, ask our golfing community, whether it's local or not local, to be respectful of the golf course that we're putting dollars into. Because when we see some of our everyday golfers that frankly don't give I don't know what the nice word is, they frankly don't care, then the level of disrespect is it's frustrating. And I witnessed it last week where someone pulled down the stake so they could drive their cart over. And I don't know this person to have a physical handicap that would demand that they drive the cart to that location to hit their next shot. So I like it. I just would like to see some other things added too within the community so we get that buy-in. It's a challenge. If you saw out there.
I agree wholeheartedly with Josh because of marshaling over the last few weeks. Between the trash that they throw in the woods and along the sidewalks, and I repaired 4 different spots where the ropes had been taken down yesterday. So I agree with him that we do need to try to somehow get the public to understand that if they want this golf course and they want it to remain nice and all the money that's being put into it at this time, that they need to respect it.
And I see this at other courses too. Other courses you see the same kind of issues. One of the places that you see locally is Avery Ranch uses the ropes, and you see people drive over and around ropes all the time. But the reason you put the ropes up is to try and protect the grass in some of those areas that may have challenges, and because there's no need for people generally to drive to those areas. So I know that multiple golf courses deal with the same issues, and Chip, you've seen a lot more golf courses than I have. So the goal is, I hope the goal is that we educate everyone, to the best of our ability. And maybe part of the placards that are in the recommendations simply say, please be mindful of the product, the course that we're trying to create. I mean, even if you've been to Augusta National before, you see people litter at Augusta. If you've been to Pinehurst, you see people throw trash out at Pinehurst. When we over here at Austin and we see the match play, people drop their trash, even though there's a million trash cans there. It's not golfers or non-golfers. It's just as humans, a lot of us are lazy people. And so what I think we need to do is to encourage more active community, just like with KLVB doing projects throughout the city, and they encourage cleanliness and keeping things active. And as the Lions Club does, same thing at our golf course. It deserves the same respect as Dawn Drive.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's disrespectful and demeaning. And I'd hate to think that any of our members or our regular players community would be.
I agree.
I was very, very excited to see the ropes go up.
I have one.
We needed those a long time.
I have one comment on the ropes. We understand the use of them, but we've created a lot of safety issues when there's no openings at the. You see, you're waiting for a broken arm or broken hip or something. Step over those at the tee boxes. There needs to be openings so people can walk through. All it needs to be is about a 3-foot opening. You're not going to be able to drive a cart through it. But you have to have openings for people to get through there instead of trying to step over the ropes or step on the ropes or it's just, we're just waiting for an accident to happen if there's not open by the tee boxes.
Well, I have seen ample openings with almost every golf course. But again, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of stepping over the rope. I'll put the pins back up if I have to. If they're down, I'll put the rope back up. But I will step over it occasionally. I don't think we're ever going to stop it, but we do need some type of educational program, whether that be placards or signs or something that keep people out of those restricted areas. Because I agree, Diego's doing a great job of beginning to bring the course back around. And if we don't respect those areas, we're never going to make it. I'm open for suggestions of what we should recommend to the council.
Hey, Chip, can I make
Sure.
a quick comment on David Fraz's point? So to touch on that real quick, David, so we have been going back and creating openings, I think, I think it was hole 7. The openings are there, so we just got to go back and do the ones that we did early on. But so that process is in place for those.
Great. Thanks. All right.
Yeah, if you notice, if you play like I do, not like Chris, but if you play like I do, you know, there needs to be openings on both sides of the greens, like number 2, on the top and on the side of number 2. We need to have some openings there because I'm all over the green. I never can get on.
There's 2 openings on 2 green.
But I think as long as we need to monitor it, need to make sure that the openings are there, and I think they are. And if we see people,
there's a couple of that they're not, and the crew needs to go back and fix those. But most of them do have openings at the tee and the green.
Yeah.
and I'm not ashamed of telling somebody if they're out there.
You know,
Go ahead, Jackie.
I step over them. I didn't realize that was wrong. I thought it was just to keep your cart from going there. So I have definitely messed up. So
I don't think there's no rule against stepping over the rope. The only thing with stepping over the rope is that you are concerned that somebody's going to trip on the rope and fall and hurt themselves. I don't think the foot traffic is what you're trying to stop, is it, Chris? You're not trying to stop people from walking there.
We're not trying to stop. We're not trying to stop. It's the cart traffic where people drive up to the green or to the tee box and they have the driver's side wheels off the cart path there, which is why you see those worn out areas on the tee box on the tee side, and then up by the green is from people pulling their carts off the cart path, whether it's just the driver's side or the whole cart, and that's why those ropes are there, to prevent that, but not to prevent foot traffic.
Given that I may be getting too far into the detail here, and I don't want to, and I don't want to start making recommendations for Josh and Chris. That's the council's business. But what is it? Put up some little signs, just some little cardboard placards that we can have printed up and hang over those ropes. It just says no carts, no cart traffic. Keep out.
Yeah, the expense wouldn't be an issue, Mr. Chairman. The only concern, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right, and we're going to put up something that aesthetically goes with the new sign program. So if we're going to try and make all the signs aesthetically pleasing and give us a new look, just like we have at the clubhouse that advertise the golf course, then we'll just make sure that they fit with the program that Chris has put in place already, and that we make quality signs. It's not a problem because we have Vistago here in town, and Vistago can knock us out some real high quality signage very easily. So maybe that's part of the process at those locations throughout the course. Maybe we just simply put up a few of those signs that say no vehicle traffic over and under and on the roads. And then if we have the educational program that explains why we're doing it, we're not just doing it because we don't want you to drive in the areas for no reason. We're doing it because we're trying to protect the integrity of the grass. I think people will understand it a little better.
You know, Josh, if you got to tell a golfer that he shouldn't cross the white ropes or the yellow ropes, he shouldn't be out there on that course. I mean, every golfer in the world knows after his first or second time going around on a course, that means no traffic. And I'm sorry, but we have some very rude, demoralizing people that play golf out here. And the only way we're ever going to stop them is to continue to keep these things up. I'd love to see the ropes used indefinitely now. I mean, that's not something that is just a one-time thing. That's going to have to be used indefinitely to correct areas all around golf courses in the future.
That is correct, Chip. And that was the reason I think we spent, I think it was $5,000 or $6,000 on ropes and stakes. I mean, I think there's the equivalent of about 5,000 to 6,000 yards of rope. So we have plenty of rope, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Is over the course of time, the location of the ropes will change to the areas where they will be most utilized. So that is the plan with them. So you will see the ropes being used from here on out.
That's great. I mean, I was so pleased to see them start. And the other side of it is, it's going to help your maintenance also. You don't have to spend time filling in all those damn potholes around the greens and along the cart paths. All right, going along. Any more comments on that? Or any other comments on any other of the issues or points? All right.
I'm sorry, do we still need the foams? Are we still not allowed to pull the flags out of the cups?
No.
Yeah, we haven't lifted the restrictions yet. We're still, the city as a whole is still in stage 3 of our response. And so we're limited on touching of items, and the groups and social distancing still practice. So we have the items inside the cups, and that's as good as we're going to get right now.
Right. And to expand from that, that's why you don't see the bunker rakes out there, the water coolers, as part of that. No customer contact with objects.
Okay.
One suggestion I have, and I think I put it in here, and it's getting off into the weeds, and I apologize for that. But when the cups have been placed, when they're placed now, they're failing to tamp down and level the edges of the cup, and it's creating a problem with the balls coming up and stopping or moving around the cups. And as bad as I am with my putting, I need some help with that.
So just to touch on that, so Diego and I did a little science experiment with regards to that. So what you're seeing is what happens is when we cut the cup and we remove the cup cutter out of the ground, what happens is it's like a suction effect that kind of sucks the ground up around the cup. And then probably, I want to say I can't remember the exact length, but what's happening is that ground is coming up when we pull the cup cutter out. And then when we go and we take I don't remember the exact term, but it's a little metal device that you stick around the hole, and it goes out about, I want to say it's probably about 12 inches diameter around that, and there's a 4-inch center that sits in the cup, and then you step on it.
Right.
So we are tamping down the cup, but that suction effect is causing it to kind of, it's a gradual raise, it's not substantial, but it does kind of lift the ground up a little bit. And that's from just that thick clay base under the surface of the greens. And so when the new greens open up sometime in August, you're not going to see that on the new surfaces, just because it has that good sand base to it.
You know, Chris, you're quite the politician. You just told me I putt bad.
I promise. Hey, like I tell everybody, I'm either the greatest putter in the world or the worst putter in the world. When I am putting bad, I promise you, I am worse than you. I couldn't.
No,
If you see the Romo commercial that has like that 8-foot hole, I would miss that putt.
I understand your dilemma. It's just a point that a lot of folks have raised.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, you know, again, we want to make sure that everybody knows it's not one of those things that, oh, we're just not doing it, because that's false. You know, we are doing it. It's just science kind of overrules us whenever we pull that cutter out. So like you said, it's not that it's not being done, it's just the surface or the subsurface underground is what's causing that to happen when we pull that cutter out.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry I got off into the weeds there, but I had it in here, so I thought I'd better elaborate on myself. Any other comments? Okay, I have a couple. First off, on the financials. If you look on that page 4, under the financials, all I did was review kind of a mid-year against mid-year last year of what our revenues have been and what our expenses have been. And I've got to say that I am, from my standpoint, I am pleasantly surprised that we are doing much better than I thought we were doing. For the simple reason, we're only down $35,000 in revenues, and that's through April. Now, I understand, talking with Chris, that May is going to rectify that substantially. It's going to come up substantially, but I don't have those numbers. But we're only $35,000 down for the year, or for the year over last year, and that's with all of the restraint and restrictions that we've had put on us. So I think you're doing a good job with that. I really do.
So
Also,
I was just going to put that in perspective real quick, Chip. I know I told you on the phone earlier, but just to let everybody know. So the month of May, the golf course generated approximately $82,000 in revenue. So compared to last year, our best month last year was April, which was $79,000, and we beat our best month last year by $3,000 this month. And I haven't done all the research just yet, but May has been our highest revenue month in at least the last 3.5 years, and it could go back further. I just haven't dove into the numbers that far back, but it's been the highest revenue month in at least the last 3.5 years. So it was a very, very good May.
It's nice not having the course flooded.
we also, as far as the number of rounds played, Chris, you gave me the numbers from May. We're 383 rounds above last May. So obviously that's going to impact our revenue line, and it's going to be much higher, like you said, probably the best month we've had in many, many years. Also under the expenses, I want to explain that. We're $22,000 better off than we were this time last year on expenses. And that's with the course improving and with the restraints that we're under with COVID-19. And I think that's an excellent direction. I think it's certainly moving in the right direction. Any comments on those, on the numbers?
Chip, I'll make a comment. The challenge is, and I've been saying this along with Chris for the last 2.5 years, is it's not just a revenue and it's not just a traffic. It's about controlling expenditures in a way that you can improve the product by which we present. And so if you would have just said that the revenues, that we had the highest month in May ever or in a decade, that would have been fun, but we had that last year in April. So that's just something to say is a plus. But when you can look at the expenses as well, and we can continue to add as well as controlling the controllable expenses and bring in the revenue with the increased rounds, I just think collectively that's an incredible task. If May is a positive month, and I do believe COVID-19 has had although it's had a negative impact on the course for a short period of time, I believe it's had a positive impact, not only on the course, but on our community. Whereas people are looking for the things that they can do to stay active, to be outside, and to enjoy time with family. And if you think about it, that's our slogan. That's who Lago is. We're outside, family, fun. I mean, that should be, we live like we're on vacation, and we are the epitome of that day in and day out. And the traffic at the golf courses has mirrored that now over the last 4 months. So I just think that every small step in the right direction is a positive step.
Well, I certainly have seen more people out playing golf than ever before. It's rare that I go play golf on Mondays and the course is booked. And for the last few Mondays, the course has been booked solid on Mondays, Tuesdays. So you're certainly going in the right direction. I think you're right, Josh. The impact has been getting more and more people out to play golf and more families involved. Right direction.
People are on the lake. People are at the tennis courts. People are in the POA parks, and they're just overall active right now. We saw the Cody Park this past weekend. The shores were packed. Jones Brothers Park, the shores were packed. Barquet Park has been ridiculously packed. I think that's the value that if we ever said we wanted to get back to the small town ideals, this has been the time where we're seeing it. And of course, handling the process the right way, maintaining social distancing, and keeping our employees and our citizens safe. I think we've done a really good job of weathering the first part of the storm. The sad thing is, going back to David's comment, I just don't see us coming out of our COVID-19 response until we can find someone finds a cure and tells us how we're going to manage it better. So we're just going to keep it status quo right now and hope that you can figure out how to use GoToMeeting and stay focused.
Well, I think, and I hope this whole report and certainly the summary is pointed in the right direction. I think, and I hope everybody agrees with me, that although there's some work to do, we know that, but there has been a substantial amount of work and improvement, and everything seems to be going in the right direction. Not only the play, the rounds, but also the maintenance has been doing very well for less money. Kudos. Another thing that I forgot to add in my summary was projects that the Golf Course Advisory Committee is and has been working on. I didn't put in.
I have a question on the financials, number 2. The last. Okay, you there?
Jackie?
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes.
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 Okay. The very last sentence. It says put an hour fee on the youth tennis and pickleball course. Are the courts part of the golf course budget? I mean, I have no idea.
Jackie, this is Josh. Mr. Chairman, they're not part of the golf course budget.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Oh, maybe you couldn't hear me. The courts are part of the Parks and Recreation budget now. They were maintained in the past by the golf course, but now they're all moved over into Parks and Rec.
Did not know that.
Okay.
The reason
Okay.
that's Jackie, the reason
I was
that's in
very
there-
confused on that one.
Well, I didn't realize up until this moment that the tennis and pickleball courts had been moved over to Parks and Rec for maintenance.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, once we developed that Parks and Recreation Department and brought in a director, then now he maintains that project and then maintains the activities that go there. And then Chris works with the director for Parks and Rec to make sure that if anything we're doing there, it doesn't interrupt other activities.
I have one other question. How much longer does the that grill down there, how much longer is the contract?
Mr. Chairman, the contract was renewed in, I believe, October, and I think it was an annual contract. Chris, can you elaborate on that one?
Yeah, it was, so the extension started in November, I think it was November 1 of last year, and it was a 2-year renewal. So it would expire October 31, 2021.
So about a year and a half.
21. Okay.
That is correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was just curious. Because I know that other businesses have started opening up and it doesn't look, I know we get money from sales in that grill, but I've noticed it doesn't look like they're moving to open anything up. And we've had some pretty big groups out here that I would bring in, quite a bit of money. So I was just, do you have any idea when they are planning on opening or anything?
So, Jackie, this is Chris. In my conversations with John Baker, they are still offering the curbside and takeout. As of right now, their hours with the Thursday through Sunday. It doesn't sound like they are going to open for dine-in services at the moment. I believe Baker's is really waiting to see kind of what direction Josh and I and the mayor go with in terms of reopening the pro shop before they make that decision to start allowing dine-in customers.
Can I interject here? I had a couple of people ask me yesterday if
Okay,
they were going to start.
that's kind of, okay.
Can
Go
I
ahead, Mom.
interject? I had a couple people ask me yesterday regarding cart service, in the sense of drinks on the course. Of course, we're not offering water right now. And is there any chance that Baker's would consider maybe putting some drinks and stuff on their cart and start doing that service on the course? That would certainly help. I gave bottles of water to some of the players because they didn't bring anything with them.
Maja, this is Chris. So right now we do have bottled water available in the pro shop for customers to purchase while Baker's is not open. So at 11 a.m. on Thursday is when we'll stop selling bottled water, and we'll sell it in the mornings up until 11 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until Baker's get there, and then obviously all day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have not spoke to them about beverage cart operations, but that is definitely something that I can mention to John tomorrow when I see him and see if that's something that they might be willing to do.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I want to just point out to everyone that this particular report, or all of our reports, are taking the current restrictions more or less out of the suggestions that we're making, because under the current restrictions, a lot of what we're suggesting, a lot of what we need to implement simply can't be done. So this report looks at what's happened in the past, what is moving forward, what is being done right, and what we need to look at maybe in the future after we get out of these restrictions. Comments? Questions?
Got it. I got it.
I just added the attachment on golf industry facts, just because I thought that was interesting from the National Golf Foundation, about kind of the summary of the game around the country and what's going on. Very interesting numbers. And I think golf is going to become much more active as a sport and as a family activity since these restrictions have been put in place. And I think it's probably going to help our game and continue to increase our play, because people are getting out and finding that they can play around the golf safely, cheaply, and I've seen a lot of families out playing, mom, pop, and a couple of kids. I'm really excited about seeing that, because I haven't seen that in a while. Hopefully it'll have a positive impact on our game. Okay, any other questions, comments, please?
I have a question because I'm looking at the people that are attending the meeting. Who is Lago Guys?
Hello, Lago Guys. We don't know.
Okay.
Well, Ron Smith was on a while ago when we first opened up. I don't know
He's
who
still,
else is on.
Ron Smith is still on, but this LG Lago Guys, I don't know who they are.
That's
Yeah,
Lisa
okay.
Guy.
It's a citizen of Lago.
That's Lisa Guy.
Okay. I'm at wit's end. I don't know who that is. Certainly welcome to the meeting. And introduce yourself if you'd like to.
Maybe she hung up. I don't.
Okay.
The guys are a couple who have been attending the council meetings and have been involved in looking at some of the things that the city is doing. A couple of very nice people if you get the opportunity to sit down and talk to them. And somebody that has had an interest in this, I think really trying to just get information.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, we welcome anybody. Any more comments directly related to the report? I can revise this. I've got a lot of notes here. I can revise it and get it back out to the golf course committee for approval. Do I have a
Chip,
motion?
this is Gina Williams. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So a lot of good work and lots of good suggestions. So thank you to the committee. One of the things mostly that I heard, and maybe this is the next part that's coming up, I don't know. A lot of the discussion is centered on, course conditions and improvements that are being made and rounds of play, all which is fabulous. But I know that this committee was also supposed to be working on ideas for marketing strategies, both on a small scale basis and a big scale basis. And to the point of small scale activities, and particularly given that play has been up and more people are coming out there, this seems like it would be a prime time to develop different sorts of activities that are either for people that have knowledge about playing golf or that are just getting into it. I know for certain that I have handed over to this committee many suggestions about how to do those things. I know that other golfers have handed in suggestions and or have started to implement some of them on their own. And so I was wondering if this committee is doing anything with that information.
There is a section and paragraph in the report on marketing, which reaches out to the larger questions and implementation of marketing plans. As far as directly implementing specific suggestions, we can pass that along to the city council. But as the golf,
I just wanted to make sure that it does get passed along to city council and that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. So I was just wanting to make sure that it was included in the report. Since you had a subcommittee specifically devoted to that endeavor. So I just wanted to make sure that it was there.
We do, and anything that comes in, for instance, your suggestions, Gina, have been passed along through Dick, and that's what we can do with the specifics, unless you want to address them directly to Josh or Chris. We pass those along, but we can't make recommendations and suggestions as to implementing those ideas. That's directly up to Josh and Chris.
Hey, Chip, can I touch on that real quick?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Gina, it's Chris. So just to touch on that really quickly. So in terms of activities, we have not really scheduled anything in terms of activities. You know, we were planning on doing, the Wednesday night scramble. We were planning on doing some clinics throughout the week. However, all that got put on hold due to COVID and social distancing requirements and all that. So that's why I hadn't seen anything in terms of daily activities as of this point.
Just didn't want to, miss out on the opportunity, particularly with the summer being here, and because other courses had been closed, and we may have been getting more outside play, and just didn't want to miss out on a primetime opportunity. So thanks.
One, to your point, Gina, under the paragraph on financials, paragraph number 2, the committee is suggesting that we move into an effort to increase revenues specifically, not just by increasing fees. Now, these are broad suggestions, they're broad palette, but we believe that we should be looking at other avenues to increase revenues, not just raising fees. In other words, sponsored tournaments, and all of these things are going to have to come in after the restrictions are taken off of us. But we could, sponsor tournaments, have golf manufacturers come in and do clinics. Chris knows how to put all of these on. We're just making suggestions how they could go on, and
that's wonderful. I'm going small potatoes. I'm not going for pie in the sky. I just know that the suggestion had been put out there previously that golfers needed to take some responsibility and make some things happen too. And so on a personal level, I know that I started a Monday group. I know that the Cottons have started a couples group. So there are people out there who are trying to take some responsibility and do things to enhance play and get more people to play and to play more frequently. And there are just many other ideas out there that could be done on a small scale that 2 more people playing a week 3 more people playing a week is more people playing a week. So, you know, I'm all for the big stuff, but I think you start small and you grow from there and take advantage of the learning curve. So, you know, I'm not talking about increase in fees. I'm not talking about, you know, jumbo size tournaments, but let's take, you know, advantage of those kids clinics during the summertime, clinics for new golfers. There's a lot of ideas out there, and I just don't want them to get lost in the shuffle. And now I'll be quiet and y'all can go on. You know, I don't need to belabor the point.
Those are things, I do believe that those are things encompassed in what we're suggesting to the council, that they direct some of those types of activities to be researched in areas of making additional revenues. And quite honestly, I'm part of the couples golf group that just started, and I'm proud to say that my team took second place last night, but there were only 2 teams playing, so I don't know if that means a lot. But Gina, you are not ignored. No one is. Anything that comes into the committee does go on. It doesn't stop here. Any more suggestions? Any more comments? Any more questions? All right, there being none, then we can move on to our second item under second agenda item for discussions, and that was to discuss a 5-year plan and vision statement. And I'm going to fall on my sword here because I have not had a chance to develop the outline and get it out to everyone. But I'm certainly willing to take discussion. I'm certainly willing to take direction on those issues. And I will get an outline for a 5-year plan out to the committee before the end of this next month, before the end of June. And I think it's a starting point for us to develop a 5-year plan. Questions or comments?
Once
Anyone?
you get your outline, the way that you want it, send us the outline.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
What she said, Chip, is once you get
I
the
said,
outline done, would you
I
send
was asking, once you get your outline where you feel like this is the outline, once you come up with the outline, would you mind sending that to us so we can kind of see the direction we're going in?
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm making an apology for not being able to get that out before now, because we've been talking about it for a while, but
Yeah.
I will have
Okay.
everyone in the committee, Chris and Josh and Dick, by the end of this month.
Okay.
Part of the 5-year plan is going to be kind of difficult until we know exactly what's happening in our country too.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
in general, you know,
It
with
is.
what's going on.
It is, but I'm not going to let that influence anything in the outline. We can put the outline together and then make changes as necessary as we go into the final on that. Any more comments or questions? Suggestions?
I do want to tell you that the minutes are not going to, they're going to be very summarized.
That's okay. I made
Okay.
notes on the changes, Mike. Thank you very much. I appreciate the work.
Chip, I have one more question.
Yes.
So are the golf course advisory meetings posted on the city website anywhere? I know meetings have been scheduled, they've been canceled. And, not that I think, millions of people are going to tune in, unfortunately, but, unless I know that one is supposed to be coming up and I make direct contact with somebody that's on this committee, I'm never sure whether I'm supposed to be tuning in or not tuning in. It seems like there could be a better way. And it may be posted on the website. I haven't seen it, so maybe I don't know where to look. But if something is scheduled and then canceled and then, rescheduled, it would be real helpful to somehow get that information out there.
It is posted on the city's website.
So where do I look?
Under
Do I go-
committee,
Under committee. Should be listed
Under the Golf Course Advisory Committee section?
There's a
'Cause
section.
I was trying to go on the website. There's also like this calendar of events, and I guess I had the
Yeah.
fallacy, I guess, that if you look at that calendar, it would pop up and it would say like Planning and Zoning Committee meeting on this night, and on this night is City Council, on this night is GCAC. So I wasn't going necessarily to the specific committee. I just expected that when you look at a calendar of events, the various meetings that the city's holding would show up on the calendar of events.
Hey, Gina, this is Chris again. On the city website, there's a section that says agenda and minutes. So when you click on the agenda and minutes, you just scroll down and you find the Golf Course Advisory Committee section, and it has all the agenda and minutes in that section there.
And that's great, and I knew that part, but perhaps my suggestion is really something for Josh maybe to look into, or the communications director, about how various meetings could just all show up on a calendar, so that residents can just go to a calendar to see again when all meetings are, whether they're planning and zoning or airport advisory or library or whatever. And so it's just something that kind of is a one-shot look at a calendar of events, and then if somebody's interested, they could go to the specific committees and look at their minutes and agenda packets. Just a suggestion.
yeah, I think that's probably something that maybe Josh could be asked about that question, or Sandra Barton, because I do know that Sandra does post the agenda. And when we have to cancel, she posts that, and then we'll reschedule, and that's posted. So I know it's posted, and I don't take a lot of time in trying to scroll down through the city website to look at when the agenda is posted, because unfortunately I have a copy of it in my hand, and I'm pretty sure that they put it on the website.
Chip, can I interrupt for just a moment? I think what Gina's trying to say is, like the city council, like the Women's Golf Association, Men's Golf, there's a physical date virtually every month saying this is the date this is going to be. And I think
Right.
that's what she's saying is the Golf Course Advisory Committee, we really don't have a set date every month.
Well,
for a
we
meeting.
do. We are scheduled for the third Wednesday of every month. However, we don't always make that.
Okay.
But one way or the other, it changes. I have tried to keep it on the third Wednesday, but I have not been able to. I will try to do a better job.
Not finding fault.
Oh, go ahead. I got plenty.
I've already had a meeting this morning and I had to be secretary, so I'm ready to have drink.
You're ready to get off. Okay. If there's no other business before the Golf Course Committee or Golf Course Advisory Committee, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Jackie. Do we have a second to adjourn?
I'll second it, David.
All right. Thank you, David. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We are adjourned. thank all of you. Thank you very much. And I will have this out in the next few days. I'm going to be traveling on Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will be working on this and trying
Great
to
job,
get it.
everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.